Welcome to Legal Guidelines Prep for Florida Law Enforcement Officers. This is Deputy Z, and today I will be covering police-citizen encounters, a brief overview of consensual encounters, reasonable suspicion, and probable cause. As always, nothing stated in these videos should be taken as legal advice and should only be used for educational purposes. There are 3 levels of police-citizen encounters. The first level is called a consensual encounter, or also known as a police-citizen encounter. A consensual encounter involves only minimal police contact, and during this encounter, a citizen may either voluntarily comply with police officers' requests or choose to ignore them. A citizen is free to leave at any point in time during a consensual encounter, and the encounter is not considered a seizure under the Fourth Amendment. See United States v. Mendenhall. Even though there is no specific rule for defining a consensual encounter, a significant characteristic of this type of encounter is that the officer cannot hinder or restrict the person's freedom to leave or freedom to refuse to answer questions. See Poppy v. State. An example of a consensual encounter would be an officer taking an individual in a parking lot or a store for her name. The police officer could also ask additional questions such as, how did the bumper of your car get damaged? Provided that the individual felt free to leave and under no obligation to answer the officer's questions, the encounter would likely be considered consensual. The second level, an investigatory stop, which is also commonly known as a Terry stop. During an investigatory stop, a police officer may reasonably detain a citizen temporarily if the officer has reasonable suspicion that the person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a crime. The Florida statute factors to be considered include the time of day, location, suspect's physical appearance, suspect's behavior, or anything unusual that suggests criminal activity. This type of encounter triggers an individual's Fourth Amendment rights and therefore requires a well-founded suspicion of criminal activity. Mere suspicion does not support this type of encounter. An example of an investigatory stop would be a stop initiated by a police officer or an individual dressed in all black at night, wearing a knit cap in the summer, carrying a backpack with a crowbar in hand, found lurking outside of a closed convenience store. The third level of police-citizen encounters involves the general rule that the Fourth Amendment seizures are reasonable only if based on probable cause to believe that the individual has committed a crime. See Bailey v. United States. When determining whether an encounter is considered a consensual encounter or a seizure under the Fourth Amendment, courts use a totality of the circumstances analysis, which they ask whether a reasonable person would conclude that he or she was free to end the encounter at any time and